Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I have something very special for you guys. We are going to make a Cinnabon pound cake. Y'all, get into the swirl. So normally I do not include like my cake fails in my videos, but y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all and I'm gonna keep it real. As good as this cake look, it was trouble getting to this point. So I'm going to include my first cake fail when I did this cake the first time, but this is the finished product when I did it the second time. And y'all, it's giving Cinnabon, it's giving everything. So let's just jump into our cake fail first. So in both recipes, you are going to start off beating your butter. And then I have unsalted butter. All measurements will be listed in the description box below. And then once your butter is nice and silky, you are going to go ahead and add in your granulated sugar. Now, if you are health conscious, pound cakes may not be for you. This is a very rich cake. So you have lots of sugar, you have butter, you have lots of flour, and lots of flavor. So please do not jump in my comments with, oh, that's too much sugar. So here we are adding in some vegetable oil, and I will also follow the recipe that's in my description box because the vegetable oil is something that I take out. So as you can see, I beat that until it turned nice and fluffy and white. And then we are going to add in our eggs, one at a time. And you want to wait a little bit until your eggs are incorporated or have started to kind of mixing together before you add in the other. Next, I'm going to add in some vanilla extract. Please do not use imitation vanilla, real vanilla extract. So while that's going and getting nice and incorporated, I'm going to mix in my dry ingredients really quick. So here I have some cake flour, and I like to just give that a quick whisk instead of sifting is what it's called. Gonna add in some baking powder, gonna add in some salt. And then you want to go ahead and get that nice and incorporated and really make sure to mix this well. So for our liquid, I am going to be using coffee creamer and the Cinnabon flavored coffee creamer. Like y'all, this really takes the cake to the next level, okay? So I'm also going to alter the recipe because I believe this played a big part in our cake fail because the first ingredient is water. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we are going to use this. So now that our sugar and eggs and everything have come together very nicely, we are going to you're going to pour in the cake flour. So you're going to want to kind of use just about half of the flour, and you're going to alternate between the flour and your wet ingredients, which is the coffee creamer. So you add a little bit of flour, add a little bit of coffee creamer, add a little bit of flour, add a little bit of coffee creamer. But you want to end with your dry ingredients. You never want to end with the wet. So make sure if you're using a stand mixer that your mixer is cut on low so that you don't have flour everywhere and it's easier for you to go ahead and add in. So now that our ingredients are pretty much mixed in and incorporated, you want to scrape down your bowl and make sure that there's nothing left behind on your bowl. Scrape down your paddle attachment as well. As you can see, it's some flour on the top of there. So just give everything a nice scrape, and then you're gonna go ahead and give it a quick mix for about 15 to 20 seconds on high speed. Be careful not to over mix because that will cause a tough cake. So now it's time for our filling. I have some packed dark brown sugar, and I just want to, go ahead and open that up a little bit. We're going to add some cinnamon, and we're also going to add some butter. Now, for our filled recipe, I actually like this better, but my recommendation to you guys is to melt the butter in its entirety, and I did do that the second time, just so that it's easier to get the consistency that we need for the cake. So I ended up having to add some more butter to get it to this consistency. So I have a 10 cup bundt pan and that's what we're going to be using today for our pound cake. I'm spraying it down with some Baker's Joy, and it's just a very, very good non-stick spray, but you want to make sure you spray your pan very well so that when you go to flip your cake over when it's done, you don't have majority of your cake still sticking to the bottom of the pan. So once your pan is greased, you're going to go in with that first layer of pound cake, and y'all look how rich that looks. Okay, so you want to pour a good amount, and there's no wrong or right amount to pour. You just want to layer this like you would lasagna. So I'm going to go ahead and spread that down and get that as flat as possible, and then we're going to go ahead and spoon in our brown sugar like filling. So you will need a toothpick, and then you're going to just swirl the brown sugar inside with the toothpick. There's no wrong or right way to do this either, but you do want to make sure to kind of break apart. You don't want big lumps, or maybe you do. You don't want big lumps of brown sugar, so try your best to kind of break that apart and, you know, achieve some nice swirls. So once you're done with that, you're just going to keep alternating, and you're going to add in some more pound cake. Go ahead and spread that out very nicely, just like so. And then you are going to add your dollops of brown sugar in and keep swirling. So enjoy the swirl. So I'm going to put this in the oven on 325 for an hour to 15 or an hour to 20 minutes, contingent upon how your oven works. Child, when I say this cake came out a hot mess, look at this. It done wasted everywhere. Thankfully I had some aluminum foil, but the taste is phenomenal. I'm gonna flip this bad boy over and see what we get. Hold on. So this is the cake once I pulled it out the oven. So I'm gonna let it cool. It seems like it's done, so we're gonna see. We're gonna make a little something out of that. I'm gonna let it cool, and we're gonna frost it, and hopefully this cake it'll give a little something of what it's supposed to give. But it seemed like everything formed, so y'all, we might be all right. We'll see. So update, the cake was flames. The flavor and the taste of it was amazing, but it just could not rest. I couldn't rest like with the cake looking like that, especially uploading it to YouTube. So guys, I revised the recipe, and that is the recipe that I want you guys to follow in the description box. As you can see, when I made the cake over, I did everything, the order of steps, in the exact same way. The only thing that I did was kind of change up the ingredients. And as I said before, I really think that the water, it's a lot of water in the coffee creamer. So I ended up doing half a cup of the coffee creamer, half a cup of heavy cream. And then I also changed, if you can see, I changed the filling in, but I want you guys to use the filling from, it's confusing. Just follow the the description box in ingredients in measurements below, and you won't go wrong. So this is our new and improved pound cake, and as you can see, it came out beautifully. And yeah, I was very, very happy that this was not a cake fail, because I really want this cake flavor to work. But that's a part of baking. It's all recipe and development. So I let this cool in the pan for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I flipped that bad boy on over, and we got boom. Okay. So one thing that I did love from the other cake was that the brown sugar, like really, really giving that Cinnabon vibe. You could see it when you flipped over. So that's why I said that I want you guys to use the brown sugar consistency from the first cake fail. But yeah, nevertheless. So now that the cake came out perfect, we're gonna get started on our icing. So I had some room temperature cream cheese, room temperature unsalted butter. If you have a hand mixer, you can do this step with a hand mixer, but honestly, this was not bad at all, just whisking it. Yeah. So I just chose to whisk it, got my little workout in for the day. A little elbow grease. So I beat that down, and then we're going to add in some vanilla, just a splash of vanilla. And then you're going to go ahead and mix that in and get that nice and creamy and silky. Y'all, I love cream cheese frosting for a pound cake. So now I'm going to add in a cup of sugar at a time. So I started with a cup, and you want to do this in increments, because if you don't, especially if you're using a whisk, baby, it's going to be very, very hard to kind of get beat down, and you're going to cause yourself more work. Okay. So I continue to use my whisk, and y'all, look, it came together. This cream cheese frosting is so good, and y'all know that complements every Cinnabon. Okay. So this is the final product, and look how silky and smooth and yes. You can use this for pound cakes. You can use this for cinnamon buns, because I do have a brown butter pecan cinnamon bun recipe coming, and we're gonna use the same recipe to frost them. Y'all, get into it. I think this is so satisfying, just watching how silky and smooth, and look how it fold over like butter. So I let our cake cool, and then I warmed up our glaze in the measuring cup, just like so, because it's easier to pour. I warmed it up for about 15 seconds, maybe another little 10, another little 5, just to get it to a stage that it's pourable. And then you're just gonna go ahead and glaze your cake. Now, I love thick glaze on my cake, and once this glaze sets, it will get hard. So you glaze your cake however you want. I know some people don't like glaze, so it's your cake. You do as you will, but I like it nice and thick, so I want to make sure to fill in all of those little missing gaps. So I went around the cake with the cup as much as I could. Y'all, pardon the view, but we gotta do what we gotta do, okay? And then once I made my way around the cake in its entirety, then I went back and kind of covered in those missing gaps, so that we get a nice, equally glazed cake. So I couldn't wait until the glaze sat up. That was gonna take too long, okay? So we're gonna cut into this now. Even with the glaze still a little wet, that's why I couldn't touch the top, and get into it. Y'all, Cinnabon pound cake. This cake gave everything that it was supposed to give. As you can see, my glaze set up very nicely. It's not coming off at all. So y'all, go ahead and try this recipe out. Let me know in the comment section how this turned out for you. And I just want to be very transparent and honest, because I had a cake fail. So I'll see you guys on the next recipe. Bye.